This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so Cheryl Robinson here, David Rowley
Here.
Jeffrey Lord, Tom Armeo,
Here.
Craig Gelbsman is absent, Patricia Kennedy
Here.
Andrew Marietta,
Here.
and James Seward is absent. You have a quorum.
Right, I will forego the chairman's comments, and we'll move right into, I don't know what committee board meeting requirements are. Oh, that was our discussion. So, as we look at struggling to get a quorum, for our committee meetings, and looking at if we don't have a quorum, we can't and shouldn't hold the meeting at all. Just be mindful today, as you choose to be on a committee, that you are able to be in attendance in person, so that we can make sure that we have a quorum for those committees. We've also decided that we will no longer do a go-to-meeting live streaming of the meetings, but we will record the meeting. So if you're unable to attend in person, you'll still have access to the recordings. And I've asked Megan and the team to send those recordings out as soon as they finish, so you have them. You don't have to necessarily wait for them to be posted.
So what, we will be live streaming. You just can't join the
Yes.
meeting. So it'll be on YouTube. So if you want to watch it, you can still watch. You just can't actively participate.
Yeah, that the audience can also.
Correct. Yeah, our public comments won't be as robust, but
Yeah. Any questions?
Kind of going back to how we were doing it pre-COVID.
Morning, Jim.
Hi, Jen.
Good morning, Jim.
Hey, good morning. I guess I'm the outlier this morning here, one of them. But I just had a treatment on Tuesday and I just not able to get up and out, this couple of days after.
We completely understand.
Absolutely.
I just want to ask, we originally.
I'm not sitting on a beach somewhere. I'm it's no vacation, believe me.
We had passed a video conference policy, so we're completely.
So
That policy?
No, we're not. The same rule applies, but you can join virtually if you have an extenuating circumstance and you tell us about it. But you still need an in-person quorum, so.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, but so.
But you still have to notice like where you are. It's the whole.
Right, no, I know.
So I'm trying to just go back to modeling it how the county does it and going to that. So if we don't have a quorum for committee meetings.
But the county, we're still using Zoom. All our department heads are joining by Zoom, but
But the committee members.
We are not joining.
Yeah. Right. So yeah.
Well, we technically, I mean, we're looking at it, but right now we don't join.
Right.
So, but I think for example, one of us was in Florida or something, technically we can notice that in advance and join by Zoom and participate.
Correct.
As long as there's quorum
in person. Correct. Yeah. So from now on for committee meetings, we'll just send out reminders to the actual members of that committee, making sure that they're coming. So you can still come to an audit and finance committee. I think that led to our second point about setting actual times for the other meetings. So audit and finance is at 8 o'clock, but we just kind of assume projects is right after it. So if we're doing, if we're streaming and if you don't want to come to audit and finance, but you're on projects, maybe we need to set an actual time for projects.
Yeah, so we're basically doing audit finance at 8 and projects at 8:30. That way, if you just want to come to projects, show up at 8:30, we might have a bit of a gap in between the meeting, or it might run a little bit long, but it needs to be about the right time.
Is there a legal requirement for quorum at committee meetings?
Well, yeah, we can go back to both.
Go back. I mean, honestly, we go back to like some of our committees on the county. They're we require the map form, which is laid out in our rules of order. If we wanted to have committee and it didn't have a form, we could put it in our file.
So that could be from a governance standpoint, assuming whoever becomes the governance chair.
Well, I think the bigger question the bigger question is, these aren't, I mean, they're voting, but they're not voting. Nothing's brought forward from the committee really at all. I mean, honestly, we should drop the quorum requirement.
And then you could have people join virtually and not have to worry about that in person. You get participation,
but
not.
We should revisit the.
We can do that.
I mean, why have for committees?
Yeah.
Let's say the board is in
Yeah,
person.
We would do it.
Yeah, just a suggestion, it's like, I don't think it's a legal.
Okay.
It's a
No.
decision governance.
Not unless the committees are going.
It would be April,
April will be the next governance meeting.
which would give you time to go through the
Bring that
file.
Because then you could have this participation virtually.
I didn't take a look at our,
It's not a bylaw change.
and I could always ask, the county attorney.
But I don't for any of them.
Denise Paulus.
Or I.
took over.
Yeah.
They're small.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll send that into the governance and compliance committee, then we'll review the bylaws and potentially drop them.
I'm sorry, one more question. So if we, for example, Kurt is on there, we still are gonna need Zoom, right? But we're not gonna broadcast that? I'm just trying to think about.
Why are we
logistics.
dropping the Zoom option?
Do we, like, if Kurt joins, doesn't that's recorded, but we're not
Right.
broadcasting live? Am I understanding that correctly? No,
No, we're broadcasting.
we're broadcasting live.
We're always live
I'm
streaming.
just saying, if we're gonna Kurt or Joe join, we're still gonna need Zoom.
Yeah, I guess I
I
would.
just wanna make sure we're all on the
Previous
same page.
Yeah,
And
thank you
it's a
for coming.
board meeting, you can do as Jim is doing now, join and participate.
I'm not sure, I don't think, no, you
Not
cannot,
for-
no, so
Just be committed.
that's the way the county is, you can't join by committee or for the board unless it's legally noticed and we put it out there. But we allow our department heads to join by Zoom, and I think what we're talking is Kurt and Joe should be able to, or we had somebody else that was presenting to us,
Correct.
we should.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of the go-to-meeting option. I'm just going back to how we were pre-COVID, where we were Zooming completely on YouTube.
Yep.
The TV wasn't even on.
Yeah,
So,
I'm just saying, if we're gonna have these guys, we're gonna need it on,
right,
so.
So we'll visit it in governance.
yeah. We also sent out recurring invites to everybody through the whole year, so they should already be
Right,
on your
yeah,
calendar, so you see them, so you, if you have, however you set up your reminders, that's how you'll be reminded of meetings. So we're not sending them out weekly anymore. They should theoretically be on your calendar for the year.
They are.
Okay, good.
You don't, I won't be making meetings. Okay, so a few items to go into governance, then take a look at. Regarding meeting requirements. So we'll move right into our agenda. We've got quite a few things to decide today, and we'll do a consent vote at the end of all of these different nominations and decisions. So first is the confirmation of the agency board meeting schedule, keeping that with the fourth Thursday of every month at 8 o'clock. That seems to be working for everybody, and hopefully, again, it's in our calendar so that we can plan accordingly. And I'm not looking to change that. So election of officers of the agency. So I guess we're looking for volunteers, nominees for each of the positions.
I would suggest that we renominate and elect. Right. I would second that suggestion.
Anyone have any different recommendations? All right, we will leave that as the current slate,
So Cheryl is chaired.
although Craig's not here, so I feel like we should throw him under the bus somewhere.
Yeah, you can.
Chair it is. All right, appointment of the chief executive officer and agency staff, Jody as our CEO, Megan as director of finance and admin, Naseem as our. We have the appointment of the auditing firm representing our financial and preparation of our financial statements. We are again going with Monster, Manzanero, and Scott. Where are we on the RFP cycle for that? Do we do that every 3 years?
So we actually just discussed this. We don't need to get a new firm.
Okay. just
We
the
have to
person
change
that
the
does it.
partner every 5
Okay.
years. So that's why Mary no longer does it. And that's why Jason at her firm is doing the audit.
Any questions or concerns with their performance?
I don't, I mean, they got it done in one day. It was good. It just, if you haven't done your fraud disclosures, if you could get them to me. Yeah, he was supposed to send me yesterday, but he was out of office, so he didn't know who didn't have theirs. Otherwise, I would have
Chase
can tell you.
Chase it down.
Yep.
I don't think I.
Take over.
Okay, well, that was your reminder.
Thank you.
I'll do the site.
Appointment of Agency Council, again, recommending Kurt Schulte. Any questions or concerns there? Appointment of Bond Council, Todd Rudd. Questions or concerns there?
We're out to bid on it.
Okay.
FYI.
But we still need to do that today until, and then.
Yeah, and then if it changes, then the board will approve that change.
We have the appointment of our bank for our accounts, Community Bank hitting a majority of our checking accounts and CD accounts, and then we do have MBT with an MMDA and MBT with a CD account. Any questions or concerns with any of the performance from approval and confirmation of agency policies? Justin, was this in our packet?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. The
Nothing's changed.
tax exemption policy, the investment policy, the procurement policy, and the public authority accountability act policy. There were no changes, but I might recommend in the future that we do include that in the packet to review.
I can send them out for that governance meeting as well.
Okay, perfect. Appointment of our contract officer as Jody. Appointment of our investment officer as Jeff. With that, Jeff. And then we have our committee members here again, being mindful of quorum for the start of this conversation, but that might change mid-year. Audit and finance, our current slate is Jeff as the chair, Craig as the vice, and the members are Patricia and Andrew. Anyone want to volunteer or make a recommendation?
I would recommend that we maintain those 4 individuals, the audit and finance committee. Just a suggestion, Tom.
This suggestion you need to say.
Does anyone have any other recommendations? I would say my only concern is just Craig's attendance.
And
But
that's valid because I have missed 2 or 3 meetings due to travel. And I don't see that getting less.
yeah. So I guess I'm wondering, if there's any interest in being vice chair there?
But I really will strongly recommend to the governments that we allow Zoom
No more,
meetings.
okay.
Right.
Well, allow
Yeah.
meetings where
Yeah.
you'll have much better attendance for things you don't have to worry about it. And I just think, with that being said, I would say.
Would you be in a position to zoom in? Well, you travel or we do more than one.
Some, no,
Meetings.
it might, maybe, but most of the time it's,
Meetings.
yeah, I'm at another meeting.
I will also let you guys know, I don't know how many people have attended virtually, and Jim, you can weigh in here. It is
Difficult to
not good at all in here. It is impossible to
But you know
hear.
when it's good is when everybody's. I went in
Yeah.
my company
Yeah.
to all my committee meetings being Zoom.
Yeah.
Because I got good attendance
Well, and
and
that-
better response.
Yeah, and that
Either
is-
full or not.
Yeah,
The hybrid is really tough, and I think this.
I think hybrid.
I was very tough.
And we've changed the setup a few times, and I mean,
It's not-
I'd be happy to bring, yeah.
Well, the problem that to your point, is this room is muddled. If there is any noise at all,
It's terrible.
you know, and I guess maybe if you haven't, you can't hear, like, there's a little noise down there and somebody's trying to talk and somebody else like makes a joke or talks. We can hear it fine here, but out there, you just lost.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. So if the governance can relook.
I would agree with that as well.
You're
I want
right.
to hear those, and I want to hear those jokes.
Is it the microphones for the room or is there any way to fix that?
So we actually talked about going and meeting with Brian at the county because they have like a pretty good setup and like seeing how he does it behind the scenes. But I don't know, I mean, their room, they have individual like microphones on each desk, right? And
No, it's just, but that mic is, the sensitivity of that mic is high enough quality it can pick up us all the way in the back of the room.
Yeah.
Well, that is technology and we should be able to cure it,
Well, yeah.
or at least look and see, what's cost benefit. Who do we use for?
ISD.
Does it have to be here in this building? Can you use another place for committee?
Yeah, we could.
And I think what you have a couple options.
Now we have to set it
Going
up.
to county governance is you do all virtual.
I-
So everyone's attending virtually and you're all on the same page. The only thing I don't know, and the only thing I would say going forward is, Jody, from your communication, as we continue to work through streamlining that and making that concise, what's the best medium and forum to be able to present, what you need to present to convey in the projects and the finance committee. But I think we probably should really consider, do we go all virtual? Or again, push more of the hybrid tends to be a tough environment. Especially in here. So is there a separate location here in Oneonta? You guys have.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
For the people at home, I'm not sure, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll see. It works here.
I would think.
Oh, yeah.
The appropriate, we would be fine. These are not obviously working.
Right.
So we'll take off the.
I think talking to Brian, finding out what that mic is, honestly, I think.
I think there's a lot of changes that would need to happen in here, so I would rather see first if we could if virtual is even an option, because that seems like it would be easier than reconfiguring this entire room, but I would be happy to look at all of the options for all three ideas.
Yeah, I think that our committee structure, our committees are very different than the committee.
Right. No, I understand.
So I think
I just don't know if our requirements are the same. Like if you guys require quorum, does the IDA also require quorum as a county agency?
For the
committee.
Well, I think that goes back to our
bylaw.
Yeah.
Right.
For municipalities, it's rules of order, but for us, it would be bylaws. We could revise our bylaws if our committees aren't taking any action or they're not really making.
Voting.
We're not voting.
We're voting.
Yeah.
We can recommend, but we're not voting usually.
Correct.
Yeah, we changed all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Do committee meetings require a notice to the public?
Yes, we noticed.
You do, is it a requirement?
As far as I know, yes. Yeah.
I think that is a law, not a bylaw. I think that's for IDA.
It's a public meeting.
Committee meeting.
I can run it by Joe Scott too.
I would look at
Yeah, it's definitely a legal question.
Yeah.
too, I think.
Then you could be a
Is
lot.
that back room better equipped than the existing room?
The only problem with the back room is that the ceiling doesn't cover the whole way. So if the board were to go into executive session,
Right.
Oh, yeah,
and office is right there as well. So it just kind of
There's no
imposes it.
privacy.
Yeah, there's not enough privacy in either of our training. Yeah.
Yeah, my only and last thought on this is, we could be in a situation where going forward, we had a meeting that I was the only one who attended with a couple of representatives from the railroad. That would have been a great meeting for everybody else to be able to zoom in. So I think in the end, we have to get this room in a situation.
Yes.
We could, some of us could be here, some of us could be home. We could be talking to a representative, property headhunter in Illinois that we could all participate in. So, I think we need to make the investment in this room
Okay.
and make it possible to do those things.
And I will just throw out, I don't know how comfortable and confident you are in who you're currently working with, but my team will love me. My team has done about 1 billion setups for Zoom rooms. So
Yeah, we love
that's
that.
something we, to take a day, they can come over and review and adjust and kind of recommend.
That would be it.
Okay.
The ISD changed hands. It's a little different than it was, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna, I'll leave Fred on the audit and finance, but move Patricia to the vice chair. Should we? Oh, it's here. Have a little bit more redundancy there. Fred, we made you the chair. Hope you're okay with that. Project oversight, he's not gonna respond. We have our current committee is Tom as our chair, Jim as our vice chair, and our members Patricia and Andrew. Any recommended changes or anyone would like to recommend the current slate?
Current slate, it's fine. Mhm.
Okay. Current slate, any
Second that.
moving into the governance committee, our current slate is Andrew as chair, Dave is the vice chair, and the members are Tom and Cheryl. Anyone like to recommend changes or the current slate?
Again, current slate is fine with me.
The designation of our newspaper will be the Oneonta Daily Star. Any concerns or alternate recommendations there? There's not a lot of options.
We do this at the. But it's like, you know, legal one, it's like the Republican and each papers, yeah. Really don't know why we do it. They've been doing it for decades.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, and like the red bull designation. And then you can all see the agency mission statement.
The reason this one is on there is that several IDAs have been criticized by the board for not reviewing the mission statement.
I will not read it, you can all read. Okay, so that takes us through all of our decisions for the annual meeting. We have taken note of all of the recommended slates and our choices. We're gonna need a full motion on all of these items.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Motion carries. With that, I feel like we are coming out of the annual meeting. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
second.
So we'll move over into the IDA board agenda. Carry over the roll call from the annual meeting, taking note that Craig has joined us virtually. Chairman comments, moving into the approval of the meeting minutes, and there are several both board and committee meetings from December through January 11th. Any questions or comments or needed changes on any of those? Now I would take a motion.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Report of the Audit and Finance Committee.
I forego any comments. The minutes, as our outline of the most recent discussion. Nice thing is we're currently earning somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,500 a month right now. So
Just by being.
just by being, just from investment strategies. It's a good thing. Bills and communications, I don't know if you have anything in particular, but I think it's important to note we didn't have our January meeting to approve, so you're going to see some, some January activity as well as some carryover. We were talking before this meeting about some carryover for some late rental payments. So you'll see like a December rent payment that was posted in January, and then 2 other rent payments for the same tenant. But other than that, you've got the total of the deposits and the expenses that need to be reviewed and approved for payment.
I just have a quick question. Something regarding the railroad management company, what is the fee?
That pipe that.
And we, in our Oneonta Business Park, there's a pipe that runs a water line under the rail yards in order to get to our
Rail
business
yard.
park.
Municipal water.
And so every year we have to pay them rent.
That's fine.
So I had some dialogues with the city manager and he made
Who
me
is the rail
consider
yard?
taking over the payments. Because if they-
Trying to get the city to take it over.
Yeah, they make money, not line taken in. I'm assuming that, the planes is in the same boat.
This isn't due till April, so we put it on here, but if you want to talk to the city about paying it, we can.
No, I didn't, I just couldn't figure out what that meant, but I'm
You got time.
just saying that the only other situation, obviously, is probably the same as Plains. Plains is located where it is because they were able to get municipal water and sewer. In order for them to do that, sewer line must go under the river.
No,
No,
well, it comes down on 8th Street. Yeah,
Okay.
and the existing lines got it to the plant.
interesting. Thank you.
I'll talk to Bridget though.
No, I just didn't know what it was.
Any other questions on the bill communications? I think we do need a approval and motion for the treasurer's report.
Don't move.
And second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now I need a motion to approve paying of the bills.
Don't move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any new or unfinished business today? Now, move on to the public comment period. Any public comment? Executive session, I know we always want to do that, build that into our regular cadence, so we'll just do that in the
Because we don't have a project report.
PRC. Oh, sorry, I skipped right over you, didn't I? Well, circle back.
I can see I don't have any.
Report to the project committee.
Not much to say on my behalf, but Jody, do you have any updates on our progress in, is Richfield still online for moving dirt?
Still moving along. We're getting additional work done by Keystone. I've had a meeting with them about a week and a half. We had full speed to get the revisions done. DEC indicated that they're working on getting our final permit. So we should have that within a week. And that seems to be on track, amazingly.
So do we have a target date we start doing something?
Probably April 1st.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would think everybody's eager to get going. I'd like to move beyond it probably at some point. Commitment for people that we're actually gonna start to get finished. Any other project tracker information you want to give us?
I guess we've had a meeting with a company from Massachusetts that was interested in looking at our rail yard site. We'll discuss that at the projects committee, probably also an executive session. They were interested in rail service, which is interesting. I have reached out to Norfolk Southern. They're trying to relay information to the company. They're going to keep it extremely confidential. I have to have confirmation. In order for them to get a cost estimate for what the inclusions would be, they need to know location, size, how many cars. So there's questions that they have before they give us. Empire State Development has suggested that we use one of their grant programs to pay for 90% of the funds to install siding. So we get a cost estimate and prepare designs. I can't go to this grant program, but otherwise it looks interesting as a project. We've also received another call from a company that is looking to do a marijuana distribution facility, and they are interested in one of the sites at the Oneonta Business Park. Actually, the last property we bought. They're looking for the financing right now. So they get back to me in 6 weeks.
Anything from Acadia?
They sent me a new spreadsheet showing the costs of what the anticipated revenue being generated by partners involved in that. They sent me that revision yesterday. So there's still, they really want to work with the campaign planning department. I didn't.
We're gonna look at that projects a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of not clear. Do they lease property or have they, the benefit to the entity that they're putting solar panels?
With municipal property, well, actually, their preference is to lease.
Yeah.
Because that brings in revenues to the partners that where they put their solar projects. Right? So that's their incentive kick saying, well, if we lease this from you, we'll pay it $30,000, $50,000 a year. And the other projects is we are working with Custom Electronics on 2 new Korean companies. Well, one was an older one. Discuss that again in projects, probably also in executive session. They just signed a contract with one of the companies and are housing some of their product line in their new warehouse in the town of Tito.
Joey, one question on Richfield Springs. If that, whatever that construction start deadline is, or projected date, I just wonder about, for the idea to promote that somehow. I'm not saying a ribbon cutting, but I mean, that property has literally never, and I mean, we've had it for years and years and years, and finally something's gonna happen with it.
I've been in contact with the new town supervisor, if you would like to do something.
Yeah, I think.
Pat pushing out short paper of selection.
Yeah. But I think.
Now the town supervisor. Is Larry now the town supervisor?
Yeah.
I think to letting the county board know, and I mean, anyone we can get to show up to that. Would be good.
One thing I would say to the local paper, they have a new publisher. COIDA, the local, they have a chance to have some, I would assume she would be a cooperative person. I've had some dealing with her over time. She's, she would be more cooperative than somebody who's spent their life in court. And the other paper is constructive too, so, I mean, we're in a little bit better situation.
Well, I think we should talk to Cass. I mean, this would be a good thing for us to promote on what's upstate, what up, yeah, what up, yeah, I'm not going. But we should see if, if we should be featured on that page.
We can do that, yeah.
That would be a good thing.
Secondarily, and in sync with this, can we begin to move systematically forward with Andela as far as timing her commitments and banking and everything else that's been on hold? So that we don't have, wait 2 more years before we have water and sewer, then we,
No, we have had the discussions with her probably every 2 weeks. She's anxious to see us. Once we start constructions and she sees it happen, she's willing to start designs.
Okay.
She's been in contact with all people with Keystone to do the design work for her.
we'd like to get something done.
We don't want to be.
We've got a lot done now.
I know that. But I mean,
Yeah.
something we need to see.
Yeah. Something new, yeah.
You don't want to be so Alaska, the bridge to nowhere, the
No.
sewer and water lines to nowhere.
Yeah, I would like to compliment the board. Sat down with Dave and Cheryl on my evaluation. I was extremely impressed with what the board put together as far as a game plan for the next 3 years and the different priorities that you placed on where we're moving forward. I really thought that it was well done. I know Cheryl put together a lot of that with the combination. Great.
Sorry, Tom, for skipping over.
What's that?
Sorry for skipping over.
That's no problem.
We need a motion on this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
move for approval of the projects committee report.
Thank you, Jeff and Dave. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so we'll need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We'll move into CRC. Again, carrying over the roll call, noting that Craig has now gone off of virtual. I'll forego the chairman's remarks, move into the approval of meeting minutes from December 28th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any new or unfinished business here? We'll use this opportunity to go into executive session for the purpose of personnel. Whatever that long-winded reason is. Good. I get a motion?
So moved.
All in favor?
This conference will now be recorded.
Motion to come out. Dave made a motion to come out.
I seconded, yes.
Okay, David, yeah.
And so we do have a motion on the table. It is outside of our original budget, and that is a 3% raise for Jody's salary this year. And we'll make that effective 3/1. I get a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved, Dave. You only need one, so.